Hello everyone, Jackie Edwards here again with my fab new hair. I mean, you can see the dye is still on my skin, so I do need to clean that off a little bit better. But yes, fabulous new hair color. I love the orange on top, the pink on the bottom. Makes me feel amazing and bright and summery and all the fabulous things. So, anyways, I've also noticed that when I do my videos, you can really see my freckles. I feel like most of the time in my daily life, like, I don't have freckles. I'm like, I would never think that I was freckled or say that I have freckles. But honestly, in these videos, it must be the light in my bedroom or whatever. Like, they're just everywhere. So strange, because really, I mean, guess when I look at my arms. Anyways, very random. Let's move on. So today, and actually yesterday as well, like I've been thinking about the damn scale and weighing myself. Now, it's been ages since I've ever thought of weighing myself. And I'm like, I don't even know why I want to weigh myself. I just feel like I should because maybe I've lost some weight. Although I've not done anything to like try to lose weight, but I'm like, well, maybe that's how like the secret to losing weight is to, love your body and decide that you don't want to lose weight and then maybe somehow magically I'll lose weight. And it's like this record that's in my head telling me that like still the ultimate goal in life is to lose weight. Even though like I've been going through the process and I've been doing my work and I'm really comfortable most of the time with how I look, how I feel, what I'm doing. And I know that as soon as I step on the scale, like my brain explodes. Whether that number goes up or it goes down or it stays the same. Honestly, I don't even remember how much I was last time I weighed myself. So I wouldn't even be comparing it to that. I would just be stepping on the scale. And as soon as I saw that number, my head would just explode with all the thoughts, all the feelings. Everything would just be like a big tumult inside. And like, that would be it for my day. There's still something fucking pulling me to step onto the scale. And I'm just like, dude, what is it? Like, how is this so ingrained into my being? Like, that I think I should be stepping on the scale every single morning. What? And so I was like, I wonder when people first started weighing themselves. So I did a quick Google search. Now, I've read a couple of amazing books that, like, go more into detail about this. And I look forward to really discussing them in depth in my new year-long experience that's coming up. So keep an eye out for that. So many fun plans for this, like, next year. Like, I've got a year-long experience that's going to be absolutely fucking amazing for a beautiful group of women. So keep an eye out for that. The trip to Orlando that I'm planning. It's like, oh, gonna be amazing. That was my little chef's kiss. Oh, going to be fabulous for, um, yeah, I've had some interest. I've had some messages. So again, if you're interested in Orlando, send me a message. And those are the places we'll be kind of really discussing the link between like weight and health and like all of the prejudice and the fat phobia and like a lot of where that all came from because I think that's really key in understanding ourselves and why we think the way we do and why other people think the way they do and really like opening up that understanding and compassion for ourselves and being able to move forward. We need to see like where it all came from, and I've read some fabulous books on it. So anyways, I was just refreshing myself a little bit this morning with why we started weighing ourselves and like when that really became like this huge thing. So like back in the day before like personal bathroom scales were everywhere, like insurance companies wanted like an easy way to be able to like decide if they should insure people or if it should cost more. And that was when like basically the link between weight and health started to be like manufactured. And I say manufactured because it's pretty much all completely made up. Like there's a few places where like weight and health have like some correlating factors, but correlation is not causation. And there's all kinds of like scientific, like this is how you test things and how you make sure that things are really caused by other things. So yeah, weight does not cause health issues. Um, so, anyways, but that's when they tried to pretend that it did. And because mainly insurance companies, like that was where big money was, they wanted to be able to have an easy way to just assess and judge everybody. Um, which also created the BMI scale, came out of like actuarial reports given to insurance companies. So then doctors got on board and were like, well, this is an easy way to judge people. We'll just say you're fat, that's why you're unhealthy, that's why you feel poorly. So even though then people would lose weight and not instantly turn healthy, they were like, oh no, that's all it is. It's like you're fat, you're unhealthy, jumped up. And diet books started to come out, but in the meantime, like people were weighing themselves on like big freight scales. So like they would use to weigh freights and packages. Apparently, you put a penny in them. That's what like doctors and stuff and insurance companies were telling people to weigh themselves with. And then the bathroom scale came out, so everybody could have their own scale in their bathroom. And I think that's when like the chaos really started, because that's when you could judge yourself in private every single day. You could get on that scale and like just feel terrible about yourself, or I guess feel good about yourself on some days if you've restricted and beat yourself up enough to be able to lose that weight, to be able to be some made up number that an actuarial study for an insurance company made up. But yeah, so I know all of these things. I've read all the books, I've done all the studies, but sometimes my brain still goes back to I should step on the scale and just see what's happening. And even though weight means absolutely nothing to pretty much anything, like there's almost nothing in this world that you need to know your weight for. Now, I think in like the medical field, like if you're going to go under anesthesia, they need to know your weight because, and that and some other medications, like they're based on body weight. Most of them are based on metabolism, which again has nothing to do with weight. But I digress. So I want to step on the scale. I know it's meaningless. I know it means nothing to my life. It means nothing to how my clothes fit. Like whether I'm up 5 pounds or down 5 pounds, my clothes are going to fit the same. Like, let's be honest, on a big frame, 5 pounds doesn't really make much of a difference, right? So why do I care? And I'm perfectly comfortable in my body, in my shape, in everything. I'm not trying to lose weight. I'm not trying to gain weight. I eat what I want when I want. And yet, that thing is still pulling me to step on the scale. That thing is like the socialization, the cultural pressures in my brain that I've been taught for generations that you have to weigh yourself. Like, what kind of woman doesn't weigh herself regularly and monitor her weight because she can control her weight, right? I'm in full control of my body, and if I'm in control of it, I should want to control it. And I should want to be as thin as I possibly can because that's the right thing to do. And again, there's reasons why we've been told that's the right thing to do, with roots in like deep racism and all kinds of horrible things. Fat phobia and the patriarchy. Yes, that's where all of it comes from. But we don't see that. We only see there's something wrong with us because everybody else can control their weight. Everybody else gets on the scale. Everybody else picks a diet and instantly loses weight. And then we just see happiness in all of their photos on Facebook and Instagram. And it can be difficult to remove those thoughts. And even in those split seconds, think, oh, I should just step on the scale. Like, what? What is happening? But that's our mind kind of following the patterns that have been created. Now, those patterns have been created in my head for decades. Like, yes, I've done lots of great work. They don't come up all that often, but they are going to repeat from time to time. I'm human. That's what happens. You're human. All those thoughts are going to pop up from time to time. It doesn't mean that they're truths and that I have to follow them. So just because I think, oh, I should step on the scale today, doesn't mean that's true. That's just like my brain telling me an old pattern. And yeah, I can take it or leave it. I can say, thank you, brain. Yes, that's an interesting thought we used to think, but we no longer think that. And I can just move on with my life. Or I can think, that's interesting. Why would my brain tell me to step on the scale? Because that number is absolutely meaningless in my life. And honestly, if you step on 3 different scales, it's going to tell you 3 different numbers. So what the hell does it matter anyways? And I have no medical conditions that I need to weigh myself for dosage. The few pounds, like I said, are not going to matter in how my clothes fit because I'm a big gal. A couple pounds here and there doesn't matter. So I can kind of explain that to my brain and move on. Or sometimes I have to feel all the feels before it can go away. So I can think, okay, brain, let's step on the scale. and sometimes there's a heaviness when I think, oh, I should weigh myself. Because then I think, oh, it's so disappointing. Like, my brain immediately goes to the disappointment. Because that's so often what it's felt when I stepped on the scale. So my brain goes there before I've even stepped on the scale. And I have to think, okay, yes, of course you feel disappointed, brain, because that's what you've been taught to feel. And take that breath, take that moment, allow those thoughts to come through. And then just say, today, brain, we're not going to do that. We don't need to weigh ourselves anymore. We're moving forward in a new direction. And we are fucking fabulous for doing that way. So, depending on my day and my mood, those are the different tools. Some of the different tools I use, there's loads of them. To help keep me on my track, to keep me remembering that I'm human. Because sometimes we beat ourselves up for feeling bad, for thinking we should step on the scale when we know there's no reason to. So instead of myself saying, oh, dumbass, why the fuck are you saying this again? Like, why do you always want to get on the scale? Like, what is wrong with you? Why are you thinking about these things? That's not helpful at all. And that just like compounds the feelings of like disappointment, depression, anxiety, overwhelm, worry, and just makes you feel worse about yourself. So instead of saying all those things and being like, God, why am I thinking this still? Just understanding, of course you're thinking it still. Because that's what our bodies do. That's what our brain is meant to do. It just repeats those old patterns to keep things simple. But we don't have to do everything it says. Not everything our brain says is the truth. Just because my brain says I should step on the scale doesn't mean that's true. There's absolutely no reason for me to step on the scale. But of course my brain thinks I should. So I can be kind to my brain, to myself. I can understand where it's all coming from. I can take a moment, give myself that love and compassion, and then move the fuck on with my life. And know that maybe tomorrow, maybe next week, that same thought pattern is going to come up again. But every time I go through and just tweak it slightly, become kind and compassionate to myself, it loosens its hold on me. It loosens its grip on me. That thought, that belief that I have to weigh myself, that I have to be on a diet, that I have to try to control my body. Every time I practice slightly different thoughts around it and loosen up all those old beliefs, it gets easier and easier and easier. And my life gets freer and more fabulous. So keep going. Keep being kind. Your brain is doing what it's supposed to do. You are perfect and wonderful exactly as you are, no matter what your brain is telling you. You don't have to believe it. You don't have to listen to it. And you can get better and make it better and wiggle out all those thoughts over time. Yay. Alright, that's it for today. I am going to go and see if I can scrub all that color and stain off of my head before I have to go out into public. And I will see you, well, it's Friday today, so I will see you on Monday. And have a lovely weekend. I hope it's sunny wherever you are. Thank you.